So down the beach, a nice quiet part of the beach. I had to get away to do this because I want just peace and quiet. When you think you're going to get peace and quiet to reply to comments on the channel, where I've came to, they're repairing the beach. And when you see the size of these diggers. But anyway, let's jump into the comments. Make sure you watch this to the end to see if I reply to your comment on the video. I'm just going to jump in. This one is replying to the post. Happy Easter, everyone. It was bloody snowing in Paisley, for sake. A lot of people saying Happy Easter over the weekend. The one about buying property in Spain. Don't buy property in Spain until you watch this. I might have to move for here. There's a little lizard now running across the path, trying to get away from these big diggers. Anyway, I digress. Don't buy property in Spain until you watch this. Great views, Barry. It's snowing in Edinburgh today at 12 o'clock. We do 4-week package holidays at a time, and it turns out cheaper per week. That's interesting. A 4-week package holiday, because that's something that we are looking into during the winter months. You know, when we get this really bad weather in Spain during January and February. It's a hard life. We are thinking about heading somewhere sunnier for that period, because we didn't, let's face it, we didn't move abroad to walk about with jeans and t-shirt on for 8 weeks of the year. We moved abroad to, geez, that's the earth is now shaking. I need to show you this. The ground is shaking as I speak. So you mind, I'm trying to do a video. So that's interesting that you do, that's replying to Alex, that they do 4-week block holidays, works out cheaper per week. That's interesting. Lots of happy Easters over the weekend. Let's get into Easter, Nerha Easter Sunday. What's your thoughts? That's another happy Easter. Lots of happy Easters coming through. Going to jump up to this one. It's also the Nerha Easter Sunday. What's your thoughts video? My goodness, look at the size of this. Did they not realise I'm trying to video? That's a huge dumper truck, isn't it? And great to see traditions still being held in other countries while our own are being destroyed. Talking about obviously what's going on in the UK. I don't think that the UK has ever had traditional Easter celebrated, no, in my living memory. I mean, I was brought up Catholic. I feel cheated being brought up Catholic in Scotland compared to Catholic traditions in Spain. Could you just imagine these type of parades taking place in especially in Scotland? We all know what goes on in Scotland with the parades there, and it's not nice to look back at. You know, it's got its own issues, and that's one of the reasons that I never talk about Scotland. But when it comes to England, it's all about hot cross buns. I mean, you love your hot cross buns down there, don't you? That's what Easter's all about. It's all about baking cakes and stuff. So the religious aspect of it has never really been a great thing within the UK. You know, it's always been about Easter eggs, presents for the kids. You know, it's like rewarding kids, and that's just a mindset that goes back a long way. But yeah, it is interesting that traditions, that people would think that traditions are, yeah, I get it, because Carberry's no longer call them Easter eggs. You know, I think that, I mean, did the king come out and say Happy Easter to everyone? I don't know. Anyway, we digress. It's just one of the comments, that coming from Paul, that one. Great to see the traditions being held in other countries while our own are being destroyed. On back to the don't buy property in Spain video until you watch this. One of the major things you have to be aware of buying a house in Spain, in this comment, is how much you pay for it compared to how much the Spanish tax actually values the property at. You may buy a property at a fantastic bargain low price, however, the Hacienda can value the property at a higher price and charge you the difference. They think you should have paid for the property. They take the difference out of your bank account. You cannot stop it. There is such a rare thing as a bargain in Spain. The tax man will get you. It is an interesting one, but it is very true. It is very true. There's a lot of comments. There's another one, the Easter. What are your thoughts on this? And this comes, is thank you for your video. nice to see that. But this is the one that's kind of going viral at the moment. Spain's Catholic traditions at Easter. Don't even ask me about that video. Yeah, nice to see that. But why is Spain's Prime Minister making a beautiful country a communist country? Why? And big shout out to Lorna Gallagher, who commented on the post, Happy Easter to everyone. She said, Happy Easter from Freezing Clyde Bank. Have a great day, guys. Another one in the don't buy property in Spain until you... There's now loads of people appeared to take videos of the work going on at the beach. If I knew this was going on, I wouldn't have came here. Renting versus buying is a big topic, and basically strokes for different folks. The Spanish are on low wages. I keep hearing this, that the Spanish are on low wages, and the low wages are the low paid jobs. I still see so many Spanish, and Nikki, I love your comments, but I'm going to throw this into the mix. When you've got Maria that owns 3 properties that are letting them out and only wants to let them out to foreigners so that she can get maximum price for it, is Maria then the issue? When you've got Jose that has driving about in his Range Rover and has 5 properties that he rents out in town, and he's only 28-year-old, is he not the issue? I get what you're saying, but Nikki goes on to say the Spanish are on low wages, the ones that are being priced out of the market, but that happens all over. That happens back in the UK. Both my daughters, I mean, we've got one daughter that's on a fantastic wage, the other one's giving birth to children left, right and centre, so she's more focused on that. But they're both having their own issues with trying to buy a property in the UK. So it's not just purely down to, you know, such a Spanish thing. This goes on in every country, and I think that, yeah, it's an interesting one, because without the low wages in Spain and the low price of food and all the rest of it, if Spanish start going down the road of the UK and giving people fantastically high wages, puts the price of everything up, the price of fuel is at an all-time high, that puts the price of food up, they then have to pay more. You know, what do you want? Do you want to be able to buy cheap property? Do you want to be able to eat out cheaply? You know, or do you want the commercialism that's hit home with every other nation within the European Union? I think that Spain tries to keep that balance of trying to keep things as cheap as possible for its people, which has to be admired. You know, when the price of fuel went up, Pedro Sanchez, not that I'm going to get into whether Pedro Sanchez is good for the country or bad. You know, very divisive within the country, as you know, in politics. But when you look at Pedro Sanchez, as soon as the petrol prices went up, he reduced the VAT straight away. You've got to say that's good, because when I look back home at the UK, they do not do that. They're not as reactive, you know, to current things. You remember in Spain as well, during COVID, they had the 20% reduction on fuel that went on for about a year to help people out. And that's just when fuel prices were quite low. But anyway, Nikki goes on to say, I kept my home in the UK until I felt like Spain was home, and then I sold it. But then you have to pay tax in Spain. Doing this is outrageous. I prefer to own rather than rent. But that's my personal preference. I bought here in Spain in 2000 and retired here 16 years ago. You absolute lucky sod. You got your, well, 2000, yeah, you got your house as cheap as chips. What are you complaining about? Sliding you up. I never look back. It's not a direction I'm going in. Yeah, it is the whole, do you buy, and especially now, I think that there's a lot for people to think about. You know, we see you're no longer going to be able to just, you know, a lot of dream for people was, you know, let's open up a pub in Spain. You can't just do that now. It's not as easy from the UK. The Brexit is the gift that keeps on giving, and it is what it is. People voted for it. I understand that. It's one of the reasons I left the country, because people voted for it. But anyway, we did digress. One of the next comments, Costa del Sol, like 6 months later, is that hotel down the end of the Peso that Ibostar Waves Malaga player. I want to visit Nerja, but I have mobility problems. I think it might be too hilly for me. It's only really hilly Nerja if you go down to the sort of beaches. I mean, there was one of the videos yesterday, there was a girl in a wheelchair, in the procession. So no, it's not as hilly as people make out in the centre bit. It's only if you want to go down to certain beaches that it's quite hilly, but there are other beaches that you can go to that aren't hilly, that are accessible. But Torrox Costa, where I am on the outskirts of just now, because I thought it would be nice and quiet to do a video. Never did I think that there was going to be all these industrial vehicles sorting out the beach. But Torrox Costa is a lot, well, it's completely flat, and yes, that hotel is fantastic, and I have seen a lot of people that have mobility issues. I mean, I think the very first holiday bus that we seen when we were along at the market one Monday morning was full of old Spanish, you know, so and they had wheelchairs and everything, and they were all using that hotel. So if you are looking for the hotel in this area that is off the beaten track a bit, that could possibly be a good one. And that was comment on the Costa del Sol video. And now this is an interesting one on the don't buy property in Spain until you watch this. Did I miss the episode where you showed us whereabouts you live in Nerja, or did you decide to keep that private? I don't think that we've ever shown a video of where we stay until we move out. We generally don't. I mean, it was one of the reasons that we moved from Torrevieja, because far too many people knew where we stayed, and Karen was uncomfortable with that. We wouldn't ever show the location where we stayed, for privacy reasons. You know, we do need our privacy. Well, she may think that we're on this 24/7, but not really. You know, a video like this is pretty easy to, not a lot of editing done to it, so I tend to go somewhere that's quiet and do videos and whatever, and they're easily done. So no, you haven't missed that episode, Railway Hill, because we don't ever show people where we live. Why would we? Do you know, why would we give the internet's full of creeps? It's full of creeps and weirdos. Just saying. So no, it's full of weird folk that hide behind fake names and stuff. So no, we would never give away the location of where we stayed. Never have, never will. Unless we're obviously, well, we won't be now, but when you leave a property that we've rented, we tend to show that. But we've left there now, so it's not an issue. We did do it in Torrevieja. We showed the video of the apartment that we stayed in the last day we were there, but we actually showed the video, published that video about 2 weeks after we left, so it was no big deal. And it was the same with the one just outside Catral. We showed around that property about a week after we left. So and this video, although this video will go out today, unfortunately no, we will never show you where we stay, just in case. It's not that we're hiding anything, it's just that we want to keep our private life private. And like we say, 99% of our life never goes on YouTube. You might not think that, but it's true. And Easter Sunday, what are your thoughts? So lovely, thank you. Happy Easter to you both. Have a drink for me, says Susan Cox. We did have a few last night. We went out last night, had a few drinks. It was good. It was good. Don't buy the property in Spain until you watch this. Another video talking about the fact it was snowing, and it's a nice video. We have our house. We will move in. This is a nice one. Another video comment on that video. Nice video, Barry. We have sold our house and we'll move into a rented for 6 months in the UK. We're doing a bit more exploring of Costa. Nice area. Before applying for a non-lucrative visa. You could do your looking about Costa in a day, to be fair. But yeah, that's a nice area. It's not for us. It's holiday home central. Don't know. It's actually, here's a thought actually. I mean, Karen would love to do this bit, but she's not here. She's relaxing today. And this might go against what people think, because when we stayed in Playa Flamenca and Torrevieja, obviously food was cheaper when we moved from Playa Flamenca to Torrevieja. Some things were cheaper, some things were more expensive. There were restaurants that were far more expensive in Torrevieja than Playa Flamenca. In Costa, we found that it was more expensive in Costa than it was in the likes of Catral. And this may shock you, but we have found it cheaper down here in this area of Costa del Sol. Maybe not so much in Nerja, but when you go out to the likes of Torrox Costa, that is underrated. So cheap in Torrox Costa compared to even Nerja. It's way cheaper. But even in Nerja, the free tapas, you know, you get it's way cheaper than eating out down here. And now we know how they can do it. We've asked, we sat with a bar owner from Torrevieja that were down here visiting, and they asked a bar owner in front of us how they managed to do a tapa and a caña for such a low price. And they were amazed. They were amazed at the deals that they get from the brewery, put it that way. But anyway, back to the comment from that video. Nice video, Barry. We have it's only my mum that calls me that. I always find it strange. It's like Baz. It's even the missus calls me Barry sometimes. And I'm like, but it is my name, so yeah. It's probably. I think I'm more used to getting called it now since I moved to Spain, to be honest. Yeah. A lot more people call me it here than what they used to back home. But it's like a completely different life now. So yeah, you know, it's a different lifetime ago. You know, we're in our 6th year. Back to this Casada one. We really want to rent first, but it just seems so difficult to secure a long-term rental with a padron. Appreciate any guidance on this. You apply for the padron after you've got the rental. Karen would be better answer on this one. I tend to let her deal with that side of it, to be honest. No, you don't need to have a padron to get a rental. You can get a rental and then you apply for the padron. But I will get Karen to do a video on this talking about it, and I'm sure people will do it in the comments talking about it. But I mean, we've spoken about this before, and I've spoken about it in that video. I mean, do you rent before you buy? I would suggest yes, because I'm glad we did. I'm going to be perfectly honest. I mean, we still would have moved the same amount of times if we had bought houses. Because God forsake that we'd buy somewhere and then we're stuck in the one place. You know, it is about finding your little bit of paradise. And for you, Casada could be your paradise. I'm not saying it's not. You know, everyone has their own things that they're looking for. Jesus, they're totally going to town for it on this beach, aren't they? Taking all the rocks away and everything. There has been a lot of damage to this beach. This is costing them. This must be costing hundreds of thousands and so on. But anyway, I do digress. So that is some of the comments. The next one is on the Nerja Easter Sunday short video that we did. I love Nerja, it's beautiful. One stayed at Nerja Princess with my son. So beautiful. That's a nice one. But anyway, that is some of the comments. Let's go into, is there any held comments published? We tend not to. This is an interesting one. So don't buy property in Spain until you watch this. This is in the held one. Great to see an honest chat on your channel. Right to the point with no fluff. Found your channel last week after researching a move to Spain. We want to move once the kids are out of the house in about 8 years, moving from Ayrshire, a lovely part of the country, is Ayrshire. Spent many summers growing up on the Ayrshire coast. Dad's band was at Butlins at the time, main band at Butlins in the Stuart Ballroom, and he's coming over here in about a week's time. We want to move once the kids are grown up, moving from Ayrshire. Could you give the benefit of the Costa Blanca versus the Costa del Sol? I originally wanted to move to Portugal, but the wife wants to move to Spain. Cheers for the great content. That is from Paul. Thank you for the comment, Paul. Oh well, this is probably a video on its own. The benefit of Costa Blanca versus the Costa del Sol. People on the channel will say property prices. But they're a brand new property price. See, the thing is it's an open question, because you have a lot of people that have bought properties in Spain and then moved over and they're living off their council pension, state pension, and then you've got people that are more modern that have the capital of 300-400 grand to buy a property, so that they're not necessarily looking for bargains in the sun. Property prices of new builds down in Costa del Sol in this area, not down Marbella way, which we're going down to next week, are similar to what you're now paying in Torrevieja, in Santa Pola, in Playa Flamenca, in Torrevieja, the new builds, 300 grand. That's for new builds. If you're looking for an older property that's cheaper, you will get cheap property in the Costa Blanca. You will also get cheap property in the Costa del Sol. I've done a few videos when we first moved down here of cheap property, 10 minutes from the beach. The issue we had with the likes of Costa was we were half an hour from the beach. And we were, you know, no good for what I want to do with this video, this channel. You want to do beach videos and stuff. And, so the benefits, let me do another video for that, with the benefits of Costa Blanca and the Costa del Sol. Because we have lived in 3 different, very different areas. We lived in an area that was, you could get away with not speaking Spanish at all, if that's what you want to do, in Costa del Sol, Costa Blanca South. You know, down Playa Flamenca, Lasagna, you could stay down there and not need to speak Spanish. Let's be honest. You know, you could go a couple of weeks without even speaking to anybody Spanish, if that's your thing. It is changing slightly down there. The people will come on and say, oh, but there are people that are Spanish are moving into Playa Flamenca. Yes, we know this, and there is the Spanish school in Playa Flamenca. The benefit, it depends what you want in life. Personally, I miss, being from Scotland, it's a lovely green country, and I miss, you know, greenery. Although you get it for certain times of the year in Costa Blanca. We searched up and down the coast of Costa Blanca. I mean, I searched inland, I searched Costa Blanca south into Murcia, all the way up to Costa Blanca north. We didn't go up as far north as I would like to have, but it's the Spain that we were looking for. And you have to think about, what is that Spain? But Paul, let us do a video just all about this for you. Costa Blanca versus Costa del Sol, because we have lived in both. You know, we've lived here now for 6 months. We visited here, Costa del Sol, before we moved down, and it was everything that we wanted. But yes, thank you for that comment, and I will do a video about that. Sorry for not lifting my phone at 7-Eleven and getting in your line of sight. That's somebody that's in the video from yesterday. I'm the tall bloke with the green hat. Thanks for the vid. Thank you. Don't worry about it. You should have said hiya. Or you probably just didn't want to. But no, don't worry about it. We're used to people. Everyone wants to get their own videos, you know. But yeah, that was lovely. The expat holiday feeling on the Don't Buy in Property in Spain until you watch this. The expat holiday feeling isn't universal though. There isn't the other category of expats, immigrants, especially from Latin America. And well, the majority of this channel are people that are thinking about moving from Spain. And this comment goes on to say, this is the dot bot. The expat holiday feeling isn't universal though. There is a category of expats and immigrants. We're all immigrants. We're not expats. We're all immigrants. When you move to Spain, you're an immigrant. Sorry to upset you. If you don't think that you're an immigrant, you know, you might think of immigrants are these people that get on boats and do you know that there was no boats? This is going to be controversial. There were no boats before Brexit. Why not? Tell us that, Farage. Why were there no boats before Brexit? Can you remember boats before Brexit? I don't. Before COVID, folk on dinghies trying to cross the... Anyway, I digress. Europe and probably the UK too. Move to Spain to work or with work. I think I'll put in the graft. I'll pay for the move and then get financially sorted, and then sort of social integration part later. Later never comes. The feeling of adventure dies off as routine sets in. Same life, different backdrop. Bit of a wasted opportunity after moving to Spain. But there you go. Interesting. A lot of people do that. A lot of people move to Spain, and if they have things that worry them, I mean, we're living the dream. We're living the dream. We are literally living our dream, and we love it. Absolutely love it. I mean, we get in the car, and you know, we drive up down the coast here, and Karen still says to this, she bursts out laughing and say, we live here. No, we live here, and we have that smile on our face. And we never had that when you drive. If I was going down to Playa Flamenca and Torrevieja, you know, driving down the motorway from Catral, you never had that feeling when you look out the window and go, this place is beautiful. This place is paradise. Now that's just our own personal feeling before we upset anybody that still stays in Costa Blanca. we just never had that feeling there. We've got that here, so now we love it. We absolutely love it. And you know, there are people, the majority of the people that watch this channel, and I've got the stats to show it, come from the UK. A lot of people that think about moving to Spain that watch this channel come from the UK. I know there's a big population that come from South America to stay in Spain, but they speak Spanish and they socially integrate. So if I have made a comment about the holiday feeling, it's purely aimed at that single demographic, the dot bot. But there you go. He's got another comment after that. It's a big long comment. It's almost a book. This wasn't my first time as an immigrant. Not quite sure what the difference is between expat and immigrant, or if there is an objective difference, except in Torrevieja, I'd say it's the N332. Oh, the good old N332. Facebook page run by police to give immigrants a lesson on how to drive in the area and go around roundabouts. They could do that. They could do with something similar down here. Don't get me started on that. See the amount of people that go around roundabouts the wrong way, as if you're in your own country. It's not the way the Spanish drive. Stick to the outside. It does my head in. Karen says I'm becoming more Spanish by the day. The things that annoy the Spanish start to really annoy me now. And yeah, a couple of years time I'll probably be on the tourist thing going, no more tourists, joking. Oh Jesus, it's Monday, it's Easter Monday, and I love but thank you, the bot. I'll unhide, I'll approve your comments. I don't know why it's in the hidden comment. Let's see, in the held comment section. 2019, Spain looking for a home. Then COVID, the news of police thugs on the beaches and so on stopped our tracks. Wait a minute here, come on. COVID, the police, the police thugs. See, if you're going to move to Spain, you have to. This is Steveta, replying to Steveta. If you're going to move to Spain, you have to adhere by the local traditions. It's the same type of people that they go on about people moving to the UK and not integrating. I don't know, if you're going to move abroad, you really need to integrate and accept their traditions, if you like. I don't know. Anyway, just my thoughts. The news of police thugs on the beach and so on stopped us in our tracks, saved us from the dictator that's still running the shit show now. Even though the Spanish economy is doing way better than the UK economy. Just thought I'd throw that in there. And don't say that Spain is all about tourism, because it's not. Because if you see the size of these trucks on the beach, that shows you itself that it's not a country that relies solely on tourism, because those aren't just used for cleaning a beach. Hell, I'm loving this video today, I'll get to run. It's great. That's just your thoughts, says Steveta. I'm my own boss, so I carried on working until they stopped their scam. All good now. We'll look at Spain when they get shot of that lot. Cheers. Well, you're going to wait a long time, mate. It's a very... Listen, you've got Starmer in charge of the UK. Don't talk about Pedro Sanchez when you've got Starmer in charge of the UK. Johnny, you've had various politics. I mean, come on, Steveta. You had Boris Johnson and everybody telling you that Brexit was going to be brilliant. See if voting made a difference, they would make it illegal. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. If you're going to live your life on the basis of what some politician does in a foreign country, you were all goosed, because yesterday you had Trump using you fucking morons on social media. Next one, so true, Baz. Life is too short, let's face it, the UK is the only problem with renting is the availability of property. In the early 2000s there was an abundance of long-term rents. Yeah, I'll get to that in a minute. Of long-term rents under half the price they are now, but that's the same as the UK. Airbnb killed that market. It's horses for courses. You can't come out and live a better life. You can come out anyway and have a better life. Yeah, you can. I don't know why there's so many of these unapproved comments. My original, this is from Jason. He does a lot of comments. Thank you for your comments, Jason. You always have some cracking comments on this. My original retirement plan was to rent out my UK house, and that would cover the cost of my mortgage, and extra I would pay for the rental in Spain. Now with more UK law and rules and regulations, and the increase in rents in Spain, I'm now thinking of selling in the UK and buying in Spain. However, with look for an NVL, but the property price is increasing all the time. I'm not sure if I'll have enough funds to do that. It depends on the type of property, Jason. I mean, you've commented a lot on these type of videos, and you've watched the channel for a long time, mate. And it does depends what you're looking for. The type of property that we thought we would have, and that we did have when we first rented. When we first rented, nobody knows the property that we first rented. And it was a fantastic villa with a pool in the middle of Torrevieja. But it was never going to be a long-term rental. It was always just a short-term thing, because they were going to, and this is the horrible part for me. They converted this massive garage with a kitchen area at the back that had a fridge and everything, and it was absolutely brilliant. They converted it into a granny flat, and I'm like, that house would have been perfect for us, because it had a great big pool, had a great big back garden, cooker outside and everything. On Spain's Catholic traditions at Easter, as a Protestant, I have to say that Catholics win on drama, and this is meant as a huge compliment at Easter. Blessings to all. Yeah, they do win on drama, and I love the Easter. I mean, I asked Karen at the beginning of the video that we did yesterday, you know, as a non-Catholic, what do you think of these, of all this palaver, we'll call it. It's not palaver, I love it. I love, I mean, I've said many times, growing up Catholic in Scotland, you feel cheated on the religious celebrationary aspect of Catholicism. You know, you're not allowed to, you don't celebrate the way that they celebrate it here. And people will say, but you know, listen, people will say, I'd seen a few comments saying, but only 55% of Spain don't go to Mass. Well, I've never seen, as a pushback to this, and as a big up to Spain, I'm always going to back Spain. I don't see many churches closed down in Spain and sold off to become flats, apartments. I don't see many churches that have no people. Do you know what I mean? And I've visited a lot of churches, and do you know, there was a case that every time I went to a new town, it started off outside the church. Funnily enough. And every single church chapel that I've been into is laden with gold, and it's nothing compared to what the UK is. So trying to have a dig at Spain, saying that the majority of Spanish don't go to Mass, it's always been the case though, isn't it? You know, there's never been a time where 100% of any population would go to church. The churches aren't big enough, for starters. So anyway, that's just people that have a negative effect, and negativity is always going to be out there. There are quite a lot of other nice comments. There's a lot of nasty comments, as you were saying. Deport the Islamists now. Save your country from becoming another. It's all religion's fault, isn't it? Maybe it's all religion's fault, but I don't care, because I live my life for me. Anyway, that's been an interesting video. I hope you've enjoyed it. It's got to say that the trucks have now gone. It's nice and peaceful here. Family trying to get some sunbathing, and they're like, oh no, the beach is kind of ghost. Anyway, hasta luego. God, that went on, didn't it? I love these videos.